So we're already halfway through 2022, huh? Time really does fly. Besides all the pandemonium surrounding my college life and my never-ending obsession towards Amphibia, I do spare some time to watch some popular movies and shows that have been popping off this year. Not all of them, but still, there are some that are pretty noteworthy for me. Not to mention there's another Disney show that I haven't given my feelings about in a while, at least in a video form. So buckle up and let me get these personal opinions for the stuff I watched this year so far out of the way. Let's start with the movies. I've only watched the popular ones this year. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is pretty good overall, definitely better than the first one, mostly because of the introduction of Tails and Knuckles. Some of my favorite scenes in the movie are when Tails and Sonic hang out together in that hut or when Sonic and Knuckles fight with each other. The human side plot is really unnecessary, but overall this might just be my favorite live action movie adaptation for a video game I've seen so far. Especially with that golden ending, if you know what I mean. Top Gun Maverick, the highest grossing movie of the year so far, is a fun time too. I haven't seen the original one, but even if you haven't, you will still be entertained with the aerial action that this movie brings. But I think the best movie I've seen this year is easily Everything Everywhere All at Once. This movie shows that you still can make an insanely wild, multiverse-oriented movie without sacrificing emotionally compelling character arcs and artistry in filmography. It's kind of wild that this blows another multiverse-oriented movie by Marvel this year out of the water. Multiverse of Madness is decent overall, and you can tell that Sam Raimi is going hard on these visuals, but the final leg of the movie is really rushed. Wanda is fitting for the movie villain, but I'm not sure if that ending suits her. I don't know, man. I'm just tired of consuming so much MCU media lately. And I'm not alone in this one. People have been calling it the MCU fatigue. Remember when we were used to only 2 or 3 MCU movies every year? Well, ever since Disney stepped in and created these small miniseries, it's getting tiresome real fast. I couldn't get through the second episode of Moon Knight because it's pretty boring, and I didn't even want to start watching Ms. Marvel, even though it did get some warm reception. The same thing goes to Star Wars. I really like The Mandalorian, but I couldn't care less about other shows Disney have been pumping out. The reason The Mandalorian is so good is because it's so refreshing to the Star Wars universe. It doesn't depend on the characters from the movies. I haven't seen anyone outside of my closest friends talk about the Boba Fett show or the Obi-Wan show, and I'm not surprised. So I guess that's it for the movies. I haven't seen any other big films like Jurassic World, Fantastic Beasts, or Morbius. The ratings of these movies flop hard, so why should I even care about them? Okay, so let's talk about weeb stuff now. Let's start with Attack on Titan. I managed to watch the entire thing last year and I really liked the first 3 seasons of the series. Yes, even season 1. Mostly because the world building and the story is so well executed, new pieces of information, new twists, and unexpected growth from these characters just make the show engaging. The fights are so well done too, and when Eren finally gets into his dad's basement, it's so satisfying. And that's why I was looking forward to the final season, which at this rate will span over more than 2 years. It's interesting to see the opposing perspectives from outside the Paradise Island. More characters like Reiner are given more focus. But the show is getting so complicated that it contributes to its detriment a bit for me. There is a lot going on in the first 3 seasons too, but at least it still has the same shonen anime vibe to it. I like that Isayama is going off the beaten path, but damn, the last thing that I want an anime to do to me is to confuse me. And this is also the case for the batch of episodes that were released this year, even though this scene is easily one of the most insane in the series so far. So yeah, I can't join the hype train all that much anymore, and that's all I have to say. And what's funny is that Attack on Titan isn't even the biggest anime of the year. Yes, I will actually talk about this anime now. Spy X Family. Or is it pronounced as Spy Family, just like they say Hunter x Hunter? I actually don't have a lot to say here because everything that's good about it is painfully obvious. It's just a slice of life type of anime with just a little bit of action and narrative woven into it. But it's just so funny and lighthearted. There's no gigantic romantic drama here, it's just each family member trying to get along well with each other.
Oh, I love the found family trope!
The family interactions with each other never get old. I like seeing Lloyd struggle with this disguise mission after years of ease in his detective career. I like seeing Yor's innocence and kindness being translated into a mother figure, and I love Anya's hilarious behavior throughout the show. She has those habits and interests that stick with me instantly. Not to mention the side characters like Yuri are pretty memorable too. This is an anime that pretty much anyone can enjoy, and it's not shocking to see it popping off this year. Kaguya-sama Love is War continues to impress me, and this is me saying it after not watching it for 2 years. I love many episodes from it, like when Chika and Miyuki rapping their asses off to confess their feelings, or when Miyuki hanging out with Hayasaka, which gives him a realization to let go of the acting and be the real him. There are some other hilarious episodes here, but it's all about the culture festival. The show finally reaches an excellent climax after 3 seasons that makes my heart go. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but dear god, it's so emotional. And that's pretty much it for the animes. There aren't a whole lot that are interesting. Oh yeah, Demon Slayer exists. I mean, like, I don't even have to talk about it because the visuals speak for themselves. We pretty much can all agree that the animation, especially in the Red Light District arc, is godlike. What's up for debate though is the online arguments asking the question, is Demon Slayer carried by animation? And I have to respectfully say no. The main trio doesn't have complex feelings, but they are still entertaining when they're together. Uzui is so good as one of the arc's main characters, and the antagonists are pretty unique too. But man, just wait until we finally get the Swordsmith Village arc adaptation. I won't stop obsessing about it, and I won't regret it one bit. And so, we're done with the animes. There isn't a whole lot out there that impresses me as these shows that I mentioned do, and the same thing goes to cartoons. That's why we're only going to talk about 2 of them. Lego Monkie Kid is really fun. That's the title of the script for a video I scrapped. But I still want to talk about it because I'd recommend you checking this show out when you don't have Amphibia or the Owl House to watch. I first found out about this show because of this particular scene where they blatantly reference JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in the animation style. And if there's one thing that makes this show stand out, it's the animation. This show is storyboarded by Flying Bark Productions, who also work on shows like Rise of TMNT, Glitch Techs, and Marvel's What If, and it shows. The visuals are so varied and carry a whole lot of personality, emotions, and momentum in it. That's the point of animation, right? It is an expression of all of that. Later on, there will be some dudes asking the question, is Monkie Kid carried by animation? And I have to respectfully say no, because the characters are equally entertaining. I like how MK manages to learn something new in these episodes, from realizing that being a hero doesn't make you invincible, learning to focus, being patient and not taking shortcuts, as well as finally trying to sort things out by himself without the guidance of Monkey King. He is such a likable protagonist. I always like it when Mei pops in. She's just a freaking goofball. Maybe that's because she reminds me of Ivy Sandu in a lot of ways. Pixie, Sandy, and even Tang get their own moments to shine too. I also like Monkey King and Macaque's arcs here. Monkey King is trying to be a better mentor to MK, and Macaque is struggling to find the right side to fight with. As far as the story goes, it's pretty straightforward. Nothing too complex about it, which fits my taste just about right. Yeah, I know it follows the usual chosen one trope, but I always think that tropes can still work if you put your own spin on it. The narrative also thickens and takes a twist in the second season, so the plot from the first season does not get stale. Especially as the third season hits, when they fully embrace the classic Chinese tale Journey to the West. The Samadhi fire conflict is so intense and how it affects one certain character that I won't spoil. God, there's just so much to love about this show. It feels a lot like OKKO Let's Be Heroes, and I beg you to not sleep on it. So after all that is said and done, let's wrap up this video with the part you've been waiting for the most. Oh boy, I guess I have to do this, huh? The Owl House Season 2 is fantastic. Everyone can agree with that, right? I've praised a lot of the season up until this point. The show impresses me because I'm not the biggest fan of Season 1. Season 2 improves pretty much everything from Season 1. Almost every episode up until this point slaps, to the point it's to a fault, but we'll get to that later. For now, let's complete the series of reviews I've done, starting with Hollow Mind. God, what an insane episode. This one delves deep into Bellows' mindset on the views he had on the world, how delusional he is, and he absolutely harrows Luz and Hunter in the process. Hunter is in disbelief, knowing that he is just another clone in the assembly of grim walkers Bellows have made. He has been so loyal to Bellows, but this moment shakes him to the core. Meanwhile, Luz blames herself because she is the one that made Bellows who he is now. Seeing them suffer after the revelations Bellows made is really disturbing. I've never been a fan of Bellows in Season 1, but he has so many layers to him. As an antagonist, he is hella scary and threatening. Hunter has a panic attack and runs away. Luz is still traumatized in the next episode. Other things I like here is the debut appearance of the Collector. They're a pretty fun but mysterious figure. I like the parts involving Ida and the Rebellion members too. It's just an amazing episode. And that's why everything onwards feels a bit milder in comparison. Don't get me wrong, I think this is on purpose. After an episode as heavy as Hollow Mind, the audience deserves a breather. But this makes Edge of the World seem so non-essential in comparison, other than to reveal that King is indeed a Titan. No, not that Titan. This is one of the most forgettable episodes in the bunch, unfortunately. But even this episode has its shining moments, like how Ida and Lilith are so concerned about the kids going through so much lately, to the point where Ida breaks down in tears. Call me crazy, but I think this is one of the most emotional scenes in this season. And then there's King, who is struggling to grasp the fact that he is in fact a Titan.
Hi.
Scenes like this are pretty heartfelt, but other stuff surrounding this episode just exists. I slightly had more fun while watching Labyrinth Runners. Gus's full display of his illusion power is visually stunning. It's satisfying to see him getting listened to by someone else after his rough past. And that someone is Hunter again. I love how casual their interactions are with the breathing techniques and stuff. Another Gus episode is always welcome for me. Who the hell is letting these children get through trauma? Unfortunately, the subplot involving Amity and Willow is really undercooked. At one point they're at odds with each other, but then moments later they just made up.
What are you doing? I just got you back as a friend. Because I just got you back, okay?
This kind of upsets me because I'm really craving for more developed chemistry between both of them, since I love understanding Willow so much. But hey, at least Gus isn't overshadowed like earlier in the season, so that's good, right? I also like how urgent the next episode is, with Luz rejecting Ida's desire to keep her safe, rooting from her conversation with Lilith. This is basically the full-on climax of Luz and Ida's relationship in the show. It's pretty damn powerful. But I'd be lying if I said that this is the most emotional episode I saw in the space of 24 hours. I also dig the chemistry between King and Steve and how awkward King feels to not be belittled for once. But yeah, watching this just hours before the Amphibia finale is not a good idea. I remembered less about the episode because of it, but I'm happy that I appreciate it more now. So Amphibia ended, and finally I could shift my focus only towards the Owl House, starting with the penultimate episode. The beginning of it has this final adventure kind of vibe to it that made me realize that nothing lasts for... No, I'm not gonna think about it again. We get to see the issues the Collector has with Bellows, the Lumini kiss that is just crikey, and the conflict between Odelia and Alador, which is really compelling. I really like seeing Alador standing up to his abusive wife and seeing his daughter care more for him. I'm kind of fine with Odelia just appearing in 2 episodes this season, considering how little time the crew had to work with. And so we have arrived at the season finale, King's Tide. I'm a bit mixed on this finale. While it does tie up many of the things Season 2 has built up until this point, the Day of Unity isn't as hype as the show is telling us to be. I do like how unsettling and creepy the Collector is. I mean, the guy literally moved a moon with his bare finger like he's playing with an iPad. I'm really interested to see him as someone the protagonists have to deal with in Season 3. Notice that I don't call him an antagonist because he's just a child. He just wants to play some games. I like the contrast between that and Bellows' intricate ideals. Him easily defeating Bellows is a very cool scene, and I'm looking forward to how the show writes the Collector. I also like the battle between the kids and Bellows, how some scenes call back to previous episodes. But other than that, the tension is surprisingly not as high as I expected. The people in the Boiling Isles got hella drained and it looks sad, but I don't know, I'm just not really feeling it. Luz and her friends got separated from King, but this feels emptier than I thought. In fact, the most emotionally grabbing moment I had while watching this episode is the Amphibia Easter egg in the final scene of the episode. I can't pinpoint exactly why I felt this way, but I think it's because of this season overall. There are so many banger episodes one after another, but most of them are plot relevant adventures or missions that our characters need to complete. There's very little room to breathe. That might sound like a weird problem, but I think this comment underneath Shafrila's video sums this up really well. It's basically on how you manage to eat a lot of quality food in a restaurant, but you have to do it in just 15 minutes. They're good while you eat them, but when you consume all of them in such a short amount of time, in this case the episode is the food and the 15-minute duration is Season 2, you'll get overwhelmed by it in the end. And when you do that, you'll lose some good taste in the process. In this case, it's the emotional connection I have with these characters. You wanna know why I love Wing It Like Witches so much? It has very little to do with the plot, it just has our main characters having fun. I kind of wish that more episodes could be this low stakes, but if only we lived in a world where the show was given more opportunity by the board executive. But I don't know, this is just my preferred taste. If you disagree with me on this, that's completely fine because this feeling I have is super personal to me. So to conclude my long-running series of reviews on this season of The Owl House, despite some issues I have with a few episodes, even with the gripe I just mentioned seconds ago, the good stuff severely outweighs them. Again, it's a lot better than Season 1. I'm hoping that the crew is able to wrap this gem of a show up with a great series finale. I believe they can do that, and I wish them the best of luck. If I have to give Season 2 a rating, it's a 9 out of 10.